We try to represent some of the best that British farmers and British cheesemakers can make. So we select from certain dairies, certain farms, very good quality cheddars, good quality blue cheeses, some blended cheeses. So we're trying to pick the best of British cheese making to be represented under the Somerdale umbrella. The Somerdale label and the British label really says heritage. This is a great country for cheese making. We've been making things like Cheshire and cheddar here since the 1300s. Before the days of mass transport or rapid transport around the country, there were regional cheeses. So Cheshire was made in a region, Lancashire was made in a region. So those regional cheeses still exist, and in certain cases they are made in that area. For instance, Farmhouse cheddar will be made in the southwest of England. The country is known for its history of cheese making, so we're selling the heritage of that history of cheese making in the UK.
Our family have been here in the village of Ditchett, Somerset, making cheese for 185 years. So we're the oldest cheddar making business anywhere in the world still making cheese today. We're right in the heartlands of where cheddar originates from, and we're only 15 miles from the village of Cheddar itself. And really cheese making grew up around here largely because of the high quality grassland, which was a very natural spot to keep cows, but also for the caves that are in Cheddar village where people used to store and mature the cheese. What we do differently from a lot of other farms is that we're very much a grass-based system. All of our cows stay outdoors for as long as they possibly can during the year. Now, a lot of farms around the world have now moved indoors, so sometimes the cows never even go outside, and that's very different from what we do. And we do it because we love it, we love the cows, we love the way of life, we love that style of farming, but we also do it because it makes so much difference to the finished product. There's no cheese like grass-fed milk cheese. I think the quality of the cheese is down to every single person in the process, and that really starts on the farm with the guys that are milking the cows and ensuring that they provide us with the absolute best quality milk. And we have a very strict set of standards, both hygiene and quality, that we ensure that all our farms adhere to. It then goes to ensuring that once the milk is delivered to site, it's kept in the most hygienic and temperature controlled environment before we actually make it into cheese. Given that we're the oldest cheddar maker anywhere in the world, we've been using the same traditional starter cultures for generations. Now, starter cultures are the friendly bacteria that you add at the beginning of the cheese making process, and hence the name. And they're the single most important determinant of the quality and flavour of the finished cheese. One of the things that really does define cheddar and proper, authentic West Country farmhouse cheddar from its original region is the fact that a lot of that process has to be undertaken by hand, and in particular during the process that the cheddar curds are actually turned by hand to a prescribed level. And that level allows you to really control the finished texture and character of the final cheddar. Right the way through the cheese making process, you have a huge amount of control points that you have to monitor very, very, very rigidly. And each day of cheese making is different, so you need people who really understand the process and why it's different each day. It's a living, breathing food, so it's not something that you can just set a recipe in a computer and make it the same every day. It really does require people with huge amounts of knowledge, talent and dedication to continue making the best cheese. The protected designation of origin for West Country farmhouse cheddar is a really key point of difference for what we do. There's only about 6 cheesemakers left in the world that are able to use the protected designation of origin on cheddar, and we're one of them. And what it really does do is guarantee you the authenticity of the product, that it's made in its traditional region. So we're really following proper cheddar making traditions and guaranteeing our customers a flavour that they really can't get from anywhere else in the world. Once the cheese has actually been made, that's only the first part of the story. Often our cheese is aged for up to 2 years. Cheese is graded in the very first instance by analysing effectively the chemical composition of the cheese. So we know exactly the kind of parameters of fat, protein, moisture and salt that we're looking for in the perfect cheese. Once you've established that it's within those acceptable parameters, the cheese is then graded at various stages of its life. It starts with a first grade at 3 months, and each process is repeated. So you take a cheese iron and a qualified cheese grader. The cheese iron is inserted into the centre of the cheese and then pulled out, and you get a core sample to analyse the cheese. That cheese is then visually inspected to check for acidity. It's checked for its aroma and cleanliness. It's then finally checked for its body, texture, and obviously most importantly, flavour development.
Tastes around the world vary tremendously. We do a lot in the United States where they quite like a sweet cheese. The Chinese don't like too much salt, they like spicy. The Australians like a firm, strong cheddar. So cheese tastes around the world are very different. So we spend a lot of time doing research into the markets, asking people what they like. USA and Australia are very big cheese-eating markets, but we've marketed the British cheeses there as a far superior product than some of the local products. So we spent a lot of time in those markets showing off British cheeses. But on the other side, we've also developed into what were traditionally non-cheese-eating markets like Southeast Asia, China, places like that in the Middle East, where the growing middle class are looking for Western product.
In Somerdale, Barbers have found a fantastic partner to help them take our product all around the world. Whilst we have the sort of traditional cheese making skills and the products that are of interest to people around the world, we've never really had the skills and capability to open doors and introduce our products to new markets in very far-flung places. It's something that we're really excited about doing, and actually having a partner as professional as Somerdale with the contacts and experience to take our products into those markets has been an absolutely fantastic success story for us.
We have to be very careful about labelling, about compliance, health certificates, certificates of origin. America has a month, day, year dating system, so we have to be very careful that we date properly. Overseas markets require different health restrictions, so we have to make sure that the documentation is right, that we perform due diligence on seeing what the market needs before we ship there. Otherwise, the product gets there, and if it doesn't conform with Arabic labelling or Chinese labelling, it's going to get rejected. I asked someone the other day, what are the important things? And they said the important thing is to get the right product here at the right time, in the right condition, with the right label on and all the right certification. And that's really what we're aiming to do, to make sure that our distributors, our retailers, everything get exactly what they want on time. Originally when we started Somerdale, people sort of perceived us as just shipping other people's cheese, and all we did is just took orders to ship them. Since then, we've developed dramatically into developing our own brands, our own flavours, our own marketing. We spend a lot of time in market research, in finding out what customers need. So we're the sort of front edge, hopefully, for a lot of British cheesemakers. We can go to British cheesemakers and tell them what the market needs.
I think what's surprised us most of all about our entry to new markets is just how eager consumers around the world are to be trying our products. I think we possibly underestimated the interest that there is in really original, authentic products from their proper region of origin. And I think if there's one thing I would say to it, I think I wish we'd have started 10 years earlier, because we've made such tremendous strides.